Hi, this is Lindsay from The Homey Life, and today I just wanted to share as many money saving tips as I could think of with you guys. All these tips that I'm going to share are practical, very simple, and I'm trying to kind of share them in like sections. So, like for example, how to save money on electricity, how to save money on water, food, and etc. So while I'm just making food and you'll see me cleaning my kitchen later, I thought I'd share these tips with you. So I wanted to start with some electricity saving tips. Now, one of these maybe you already do, maybe you've never heard of, but did you know that if you leave a device plugged in and it is turned off, the actual device, it's still using power? Unless, of course, you have an actual switch on your power board, like here in Australia, where you can switch the actual power off. If it's plugged in but the power is on, it's still using power, and this is called phantom load or vampire power. And it can actually account for up to 5 to 10% of energy use when I was looking up how much energy a turned off appliance can use. And that can add up actually quite quickly, definitely over time. So by just simply either unplugging your device of any sort that's you're not using, or by switching the power actually off on the power point, can save you money on your electricity. Quick side note, all the recipes that I am making now will be in the description link down below. Now, another thing is, did you actually know that energy tends to be cheaper during off-peak times, which for most places is between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. So you can have a look to see what time is off-peak times for you. Now, this is a great time, for example, to maybe start the dishwasher, or if you get up early before 7 a.m., you can get a load of laundry on, things like that, so that you are using your power during the off-peak times as much as possible. This one's pretty obvious, but hang laundry to dry instead of using your dryer. Definitely if it's nice and sunny outside. Hang laundry also comes out, I think, is a nice kind of smell, and it helps kind of bleach if there's any stains. But this will also save you money. Now, if you are going to be using the dryer, you should try and put a dryer ball in with it. These are wool dryer balls that you can buy, and it can decrease the drying time by up to 30%. And of course, things like turning off lights or fans when you're not in a room is important to help save more electricity. Very practical tips, but all of these things really do add up. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about was water efficiency and saving money on water. A couple of things that you can do be like water efficient shower heads. There's actually like attachments you can add, and they can help reduce how much water is coming down at one time and drastically reduce the amount of water usage. Having, of course, water efficient appliances, definitely obviously for your dishwasher and for your washing machines are really helpful. You can time showers, which is what we do here. So, you let the water run for a certain amount of time, stop the water. Of course, if the kids like to take baths, they can have a certain amount of water put in the bathtub. Don't fill it all the way to the top. And that way they can sit and kind of play in it. And of course, this one's probably a big one for anyone who gardens and you know how much water can use. It is so good to invest in a water tank for your garden beds. Or, of course, if you can for your house, but if you can even just have a water tank specifically for your gardens, to water your gardens, that you just put next to a shed, you attach it to collect the house water, or to collect like a garden shed, to collect the water from that will save you so much money. So having even a smaller size water tank is so worth it just for your gardens. Now, a little tip with fuel prices. I mean, this one can be a bit difficult. Fuel prices can change drastically, obviously, and they change from area to area. So it's not like one place is more expensive, one place is cheaper. For example, we're a bit more rural and it's actually cheaper and it's more expensive as we go into the city. So sometimes shopping around can help save money, definitely on your way to, let's say, work, knowing where's the cheaper area to go to. But there's also a supply and demand. So during the weekdays, fuel tends to be cheaper than on the weekends, and it tends to be cheaper earlier in the morning or late in the evenings, and they tend to put it up again during the mid afternoon, like evening when everybody's leaving work or going to pick up school because there is a higher demand for it. And like I said, with fuel, it kind of really drastically changes. But I have noticed, for example, fuel is cheaper here, and I have noticed the trend where it goes up in the mid afternoon, sorry. So it's still cheaper early mornings or late evenings. Now, I wanted to touch on food, and I actually already made a whole video on money saving tips for food, but I actually left a few things out. So if you want to see my full video on completely different tips on saving money for food, I'll leave that link below. But here are some different tips that I didn't add in there that I completely forgot to add. So one of them, for example, is to buy the whole chicken instead of just like parts of chickens. Like chicken thighs, for example, or chicken breasts are actually really expensive compared to just buying a whole chicken. Certain cuts of meat are a lot cheaper, like your blade steaks and your beef chucks and your stew kind of meats tend to be a lot cheaper because you need to slow cook them, which is still fine. I think they taste amazing. They taste really good slow cooks, but those kinds of meat tend to be cheaper. Of course, if you want, this is something we had started here, was crop swaps, and they're actually really easy to do. So you just pretty much put it out there with the community, pick a day, pick a time, say we're gonna meet here, and literally just swap food that you've grown. Maybe sometimes it's baked goods. Maybe people are making other things and they want to swap for food because they don't have garden beds. But you're just pretty much swapping out your abundance for other things that you need. And this could be a really easy way to save money. And also, it's just good to get in with community. People who swap plants and seedlings and all kinds of things. And it's just really quite lovely. So if you can do something like that, it's something I would highly recommend to start doing. Another thing is to also make like your own icing sugar, for example, or make your own flours and make your own brown sugar. They are really easy to make. Literally, icing sugar is just raw sugar that has been blended, which I can blend with a coffee grinder, which was very cheap, to powder it into icing sugar. Or if you, let's say you like oats meal or almond flour, it's cheaper to buy the actual whole form, like the almonds and the actual oats, and then blend them yourself at home to turn it into flour. So those kind of things really help as well with cutting down prices if you're buying those things. And like I said, I did a whole video already, so I don't want to go too in depth about food. I can link that below for you, and it has a lot more tips. Alright, so some other tips, for example, as well. Now, saving, like, let's say registration and insurances and all those kinds of things that really add up is to make sure you, first of all, shop around and see who's giving the best deal when it comes to insurances and rego, because that can be so easy to save yourself a few $100s instantly. You'll also find a lot of the times that it's cheaper to pay for the year for these things than for, let's say, like every 6 months. Now, this one's actually a big one. I don't know if many people think about it, but paying your mortgage weekly is cheaper than paying it bi-weekly or monthly because of the interest. So when I was looking it up, it can decrease your loan term by several years, and it can save you in the long run tens of thousands just in interest. Now, we always pay it weekly, and it really, really works, and that's just how we've done it. So if you can change yours, change it and pay your mortgage weekly to save you money. Another thing is paying cash, as a lot of places have a card surcharge. So if you can just take cash out and pay that way, then you're also not overspending, because it's also easy to spend when you have a card. but you're also not paying those extra charges on top of that. Another money saving tip is, if you do have some extra money, buy bulk whenever possible. Buy bulk, let's say if you're using diapers, buy the box of diapers. Laundry powder, buy a larger box of laundry powder if you don't make your own, because making your own is actually quite cheap. Dishwashing liquid, buy bulk. Hand washing, food, things like flour, salt, pasta, rice. Of course, if you can buy bulk meat, it really drastically reduces how much you're paying per grams and units and all that kind of stuff. But buying bulk really saves a lot of money. So just start with buying one thing bulk, and then eventually you'll save enough money to buy something else bulk as well, and just do it that way. Now, we have a really good op shop over here, so I love going there to like look for clothes, toys, games, books. They even have nice furniture. Like, instead of buying brand new, you can find a lot of the times, even with the tags still on them, and things haven't even been opened or used, for a fraction of the price. I mean, I found a game I wanted for $1, and it was going to cost me $20 online, and it was in my Amazon cart. I was going to buy this game, as an example. So check out your local op shops and see what you can find there, or like Amazon Marketplace, before you go and buy something new. Okay, still have a few more tips for you guys. Now, if you have a library, use your library. Instead of buying books new, go to the library for books. Go and use the internet if you need internet at the library. They also tend to have games and puzzles that you can borrow to use. Another thing is obviously entertainment. We like to do things, I get it. Nobody wants to just stay home necessarily all the time bored. There's so much free entertainment. There are parks. You can go to beaches. You can just go for a walk. Sometimes there's movie screenings outside. There's markets. Just see what's happening in your local area and go and do those things that are completely free. All right, last couple of things is, if you have any subscriptions, cancel what you really don't need. Cancel those Netflix subscription. You don't need Netflix and Prime and who knows what, all these other ones. Cancel some of them. You'll find you don't really need them. And the last one is to declutter your house and sell the excess. I'm sure there are things that are in your home that you don't use, that you don't want, that you don't need. Declutter it, it will feel great, and sell what you don't use. I hope you found these tips helpful and useful, and let us know in the comments, is there anything that I missed? And I will see you in my next video. Have a great day. Bye.